Hi guys, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel, Adventures in America. If you are new to my channel, my name is Jocelyn and I'm a dual citizen of the United States and the Philippines. Today we are going to talk about the new arrival protocols for inbound passengers to the Philippines effective May 6, 2021. The Interagency Task Force on the Management of Infectious Diseases in the Philippines just released Resolution number 114 outlining the updated arrival protocols for inbound passengers in the Philippines. The following protocols shall hereinafter be observed for all inbound travelers to the Philippines regardless of vaccination status in all ports of entry. Number 1. All arriving travelers shall undergo 14-day quarantine upon arrival, the first 10 days of which shall be observed in a quarantine facility, with the remainder to be completed under home quarantine in their respective local government units of destination. Number 2. RT-PCR tests shall be conducted on the 7th day, with day 1 being the day of arrival, notwithstanding a negative test result. So even if you have a negative test result, the arriving traveler shall complete the facility-based quarantine period of 10 days. The Bureau of Quarantine shall ensure strict symptom monitoring while in the facility quarantine for 10 days. This new travel protocol essentially changes the previous protocol of Prebooked quarantine facility for 7 days. Now it is requiring passengers to the Philippines to pre-book a quarantine facility for 10 days, and then the day of the swab test will be on the 7th day. So it is essentially adding more burden to travelers regardless of vaccination status and regardless of a negative result of your COVID test. Let's talk about the travel ban. Effective April 28, travelers from India within the last 14 days shall be barred from entering the Philippines. Also, the Bureau of Immigration has a press release implementing expanded travel restrictions and bans travelers from Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh starting May 7th. All passengers from the said countries, as well as those who have a travel history within the last 14 days from the date of their arrival in the Philippines, will be prohibited from entering the country starting May 7th until May 14th. Also, passengers who are merely transiting through India, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh will be allowed to enter but will be required to undergo a strict 14-day quarantine. Also, the Bureau of Immigration Port Operations Division Chief Attorney Carlos Capulong clarified that the spouse and children of Filipinos or former Filipinos who are traveling to the Philippines without the Filipino former Filipino spouse or parent may only be allowed upon the presentation of a valid 9A visa and an exemption document from the Department of Foreign Affairs. Only those who are traveling with a former Filipino spouse or parent are eligible for the Balikbayan privilege. The Balikbayan privilege allows the spouse and children of Filipinos and former Filipinos who are traveling with them visa-free entry with a 1-year stay. Also, foreign tourists who have no immediate family members traveling with them, such as a spouse, parent, or child, or whose relatives are not in the Philippines, are not allowed to enter. However, there are still standard health protocols that remain unchanged. Number 1, mandatory wearing of face masks and face shield. Number 2, mandatory registration to case investigation forms depending on the traveler's type and port of entry, Manila, Cebu, or Clark. And number 3, mandatory use of the Trace app mobile application to generate and scan the QR code when entering in or boarding from and upon arriving in all Philippine airports, as mandated by the Philippine Department of Transportation. If you are a passenger of Philippine Airlines, you are still mandated to execute the affidavit of undertaking, and also they have a separate ECIF form for PAL passengers. If your airline is other than PAL or you are flying through a foreign airline, you need to register through PAD Lab. Why should I take the swab test upon my arrival in the Philippines? Taking a COVID-19 test is a requirement of the Philippine government for all arriving international passengers. Starting May 6, 2021, passengers shall be tested on the 7th day of their quarantine stay. Day 1 starts on the day of the passenger's arrival. Are children required to take the swab test upon arrival in the Philippines? Children, including infants, are required to undergo the RT-PCR test on the 7th day of their quarantine stay. They must also complete the registration process and pay a separate testing fee. For minimized discomfort, infants will be swabbed through the mouth. I am already vaccinated. Do I still need to undergo testing and quarantine? Passengers, regardless of vaccination status, are still required to undergo respective testing and quarantine as is specified by the Philippine Interagency Task Force on the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases. Pay the swab test fee. Only non-overseas Filipino workers are required to pay for the COVID-19 RT-PCR test. The test is free for overseas Filipino workers, whether they arrive in Manila, Cebu, or Clark. For non-overseas Filipino workers arriving in Manila, the test fee is 4,000 pesos. Payment can be made via cash, card, Alipay, WeChat Pay, GCash, and PayPal. Currency exchange booths are available inside the terminal. You may also prepay for your RT-PCR test. Please follow the instructions indicated in your email after registering to PAL's electronic case investigation form. For non-overseas Filipino workers arriving in Cebu, the test fee is 4,100 pesos. Payment can be made via cash or credit card. Currency exchange booths are available inside the terminal. For non-overseas Filipino workers arriving in Clark, the test fee is 4,000 pesos. Payment can be made in cash. Currency exchange is available at the terminal. What can I do at my assigned hotel while waiting for my scheduled test and release of my result? We encourage everyone to stay safe by staying inside their rooms and while waiting for their scheduled test and release of results. Certain facilities of your hotel may be open or closed depending on their quarantine and safety protocols. Can families traveling together stay in the same hotel or room? In compliance with Philippine regulations, only one person is allowed per room, except for the following. Families with minor children below 18 years old if the family or if the traveling family has 2 or more adult members. Only one adult can stay with the minor children. Also, a person with disability or PWD and his or her companion. Only one adult companion is allowed. Travelers with medical emergencies. For questions or comments, please post them down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Also, if you have recently contacted the Philippine Consulates abroad and you received a response from them because of your visa application or issuance, please share your experience. And also, if you recently traveled in the Philippines, please post your travel experience and let us know what you think of the travel restrictions. Thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I always welcome new subscribers. Again, thank you guys for watching and I hope to see you in my next video. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great day.